From two consequential initiatives making the November ballot this week to attention-grabbing testimony during the January 6th panel hearings involving our own Congressman Kevin McCarthy, it has been another busy week of politics here in Kern.
And 17's Maddie Gannon is here to lay it all out. Good evening, Maddie.
Jim, Tammy, good evening. Some of the biggest news out of Washington continues to be the January 6 hearings, where despite not participating, Bakersfield Congressman Kevin McCarthy has taken a center role.
If Pelosi was picking which Republicans were on there, and the first pick was Liz Cheney, who do you think she was going to let on otherwise? Yeah. The right decision was the decision I made.
On Monday, McCarthy defended his decision to pull all 5 of his GOP picks off the January 6 panel after House Speaker Nancy Pelosi rejected 2 choices. McCarthy's comments come after stern words from former President Donald Trump, who called the choice to keep Republicans off the committee a, quote, very, very foolish decision.
I answered the call and he sounded rushed, but also frustrated and angry at me, and I was confused because I didn't know what the president had just said. He then explained, the president just said he's marching to the Capitol. You told me this whole week you aren't coming up here. Why would you lie to me?
On Tuesday, Cassidy Hutchinson, an aide to Trump's chief of staff Mark Meadows, shook the Beltway with her testimony at the January 6 hearing. Hutchinson talked about a phone call she said she had with McCarthy during Trump's speech at his rally before the attack on the Capitol. McCarthy responded to the testimony on Fox News.
They're obsessed with Trump, and this is all they want to do. But this hearsay would never be allowed in the court of law.
Kern's other congressman, David Valadao, introduced 3 amendments to a House appropriations bill that he said would help alleviate the drought here in California. All 3 were rejected by the committee. At our state capitol, lawmakers passed an over $300 billion budget for the new fiscal year. The budget includes a $9.5 billion tax refund plan, as prices at the pump are still sky high around the state. And a 3-cent increase in California's gas tax officially took effect today.
But no permanent or ongoing tax relief is presented here in this framework, which is something that I and my Assembly Republican colleagues have called for. Californians are hurting now. Waiting 4 months till October for a tiny fraction of relief is certainly not immediate.
Bakersfield Republican Assemblyman Vince Fong and Democratic Assemblyman Rudy Salas continue to call on Governor Gavin Newsom and the state legislature to suspend California's 51-cent gas tax, with Fong noting the rebates in the budget plan likely will not arrive until the fall. And here in Kern, supervisors voted 4-1 to place a 1-cent sales tax increase on the November ballot, with local officials such as District Attorney Cynthia Zimmer and Sheriff Donnie Youngblood standing up in support. David Couch was the only supervisor to vote no.
We are still at a tipping point. A further loss of revenue to the County of Kern, and specifically to my office, will have a devastating effect on my future ability to keep our residents safe.
The measure would increase the sales tax from 7.25% to 8.25% in unincorporated areas of Kern. The new revenue would go to county services like law enforcement and emergency medical response. And separately, an effort to limit supervisors to 2 terms in office qualified for the November ballot. In response, supervisors started the process of placing their own term limit measure on the ballot, which would include limiting supervisors to 2 or 3 terms, but allowing them to run for the position again after they took a hiatus. With your political rundown, I'm Maddie Gannon. Jim and Tammy, back to you.